It's time for the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast. Here with a load of laughs, info, and fun, it's Tony B, Dave B, and Timmy D.
Before I go alone. Don't ask me this and one more song. It ain't too costly, no, I ain't too cheap, so just relax. I'm on my knees.
Good morning. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen Podcast, episode number 137. David B., happy Saturday morning, brother.
137. Good morning, producer Tony.
Man, the views of Ship's Gonna Happen are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. David, we do it for the
Transportainment.
Boom, baby. Today's topics. Trucking industry cycle, just a neat little cycle that we all go through up and down, and we'll talk about it. David's got ramp metering. It's a new thing in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. We'll discuss it.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Scottie Scheffler, David, arrested.
Okay. All right.
Amazing.
I think there's somebody in sports that should be fired, but that's just my own opinion.
Number 4, 1992 musical hits, David B.
92. The year I should have, had I went to college, graduated from college.
You would have been, what do they call that? You would have been a valedictorian. Ooh. David Boyles, our valedictorian.
Oh,
David
my.
Boyles.
The bar is set very low.
Where would you have gone?
Where would I have? If I had a choice.
Because you like Purdue. Would you go to Purdue?
Right. I think so. I think at that time I could have gotten in. I think there is zero chance of me ever getting. And I mean that legitimately. I don't mean that to be whatever. I just think the standards are much higher now than they were then, and I mean that respectively. I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah.
I might, and I'm not downplaying any university today. Maybe Ivy Tech or something. I don't know. I'd be lucky.
When we got into Ooey Pooey,
maybe.
Yeah.
I just don't think I was, and I'm still not well read. I've never been well read. I know you do. You do like to read, and I struggle with.
You're a smart guy, though.
But I like to read. It's the maintaining. It's the sticking it with you.
Yeah.
Where you do a good job of it, sticking it with you. I mean, you do really good.
Well, thanks, bro.
You're the guy. Tony's the guy that. It's on page 47, and you're like, there's 47 pages.
Wait, I'm only on page 1.
But anyway, you do a really, really good job. So
you can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeart, Stitcher, and our home website, which is the Ship's Gonna Happen. Just Google us. Put us in a search engine, whatever search engine you use. Put our name in there, and you will find us. David B., happy Saturday morning,
good
brother.
Saturday morning to you, producer Tony. This show, along with all of our other shows, brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go after Ship's Gonna Happen week. Great place to go to unwind, get a great meal, hear some good music, chat it up with the locals. I was there last night, and I don't remember an effing thing this morning.
Oh, man.
My head is pounding. Sean was there.
Oh,
Donna was there. Everybody was there. It's good to see some, as I mentioned earlier, got to chat it up with the locals. Great spot to go if you're ever in town. Go stop by the Great Divide and tell them that the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast sent you. Producer Tony, I gotta ask. It's been rainy a lot lately for quite a while. Actually, the whole month of April, and we're halfway through this month already.
I know.
Just started. How in the hell do you succeed at the 19th green looking like it does? Because you've done an awesome job. I mowed Sunday, mowed again on Wednesday, and you'd have thought it had been 2 weeks.
I know, man. It's growing so fast right now. I've actually had to do it every other day.
Okay.
So I've been doing this.
But how do you get that in? Back. How do you get it in every other day with it been like
I cut it twice while I do it because it is getting clumpy, right? So it gets rid of all the excess grass.
Okay.
But you got to be careful with that because what I discovered, and now's the time that will spread through your yard, is if you look underneath your you got the Toro Time Cutter, right?
Yep.
If you look underneath it, you probably got gobs of grass.
Every time?
Yeah. Well, just now, really.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah. And if you get way up underneath it, there's mold growing. And so what'll happen is it'll eventually spread the mold around your yard. I just caught it yesterday. Well, 2 weeks ago, I was cutting it, and the blade seemed like it was uneven.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yep.
man,
I'm getting that.
you gotta go underneath there. Get a water hose.
But I do.
Well, you
Do I
may
need
have some. What I had was a clump that the blade somehow was missing, and it was going right down the center, and it was missing the center of the yard, like in between the blades.
Yep.
Yeah, you probably got some clumping going on. Yeah.
This portion is so brought to you by Tony's Lawn Care.
Yeah, we're like we're doing the show.
I'm serious, dude.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that for? Good Lord! All right,
I'd like it, man. Everybody like in the neighborhoods, like what did one guy say the other day? Oh yeah, the neighbor over here, Bill and I'm sorry, Ryan and Bridget. They were like, "Man, you're making us look bad." I'm like, "What?" They're like, "God, your yard looks so good." I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "Man, I'll stop." They're like, "No, don't stop." They're like, "It's good," and their kid will come run on it. He plays football.
The Amazon guy
Yeah.
can't.
No, the kid can. The kid can. I go, "Does that feel good? Fall on it." "Oh, that's good turf, isn't it?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." No, the Amazon guy complimented. I wasn't here one day. Delivered and told Ann, "Man, this is a nice." Might have been the FedEx guy. He said, "Man, this is a nice yard."
Okay.
But now I see them. They're respecting it, and they're coming up the driveway now.
Respect the yard.
Yeah, except the Amazon is the worst.
the yard.
Yeah. We should do that voice. Respect. Yeah. So now the what? Oh man,
Sorry.
that was a good one.
No.
That was no button.
Yeah.
That was no button. That was David B on his own. But the FedEx guy backs up. The UPS guy always backs up into the
That's
driveway.
that's their policy,
Right.
though, right?
Yeah. Pretty
I'm
professional.
sure there's somebody listening now that's like, they always back into ours.
Yeah.
It's just what their policy is.
Yeah, it's good though. They're smart, and
It is a smart policy.
it is. So because when traffic's going by, it keeps their truck off the road a little bit, right? And then, yeah, it's good stuff, man. No, thanks for complimenting. But that mold right now is something that you can treat it too.
I bet if you put one of them little stick signs in your yard or whatever that said Tony's Lawn Care with your number,
They
your
call.
effing phone
It would ring.
would ring off the hook. I mean that sincerely.
I hope the neighbor across the street's not listening, because I would love to. I fantasize often, like getting up in the morning, not about the neighbor, but about his yard, like getting up and just going.
Damn it, Tony, you ruined my day.
It's the wrong fantasy, right? It's an old man fantasy. So it's like going over there and just like,
Let me do it.
oh my God, yeah, just whack. And I know the guy that does it for him. He's a buddy of mine that lives a neighbor. I'm like, dude, just throw down some like stuff on the lawn, you know. And he did this year. He did. So, but it didn't really seem to like take effect. So I don't know, but it looks better. But I'd like to go over there and rearrange it.
Yeah, let me do that.
But David B.
Interesting.
So here's topic number one
All
here.
right.
So we always talk about up, down. When we had the COVID numbers skewed everything, right?
Mhm.
So if you go to ACT Research, it's actresearch.net. You can see this. It was the trucking forecast. They put out 426.24. And what it basically said, there's a nice article about what the industry will look like this year. And they predicted all this stuff, which they tout as last 24 months, 98.5% accurate.
Okay.
Overall, 2023, they were 96.6% accurate. So it's a neat little thing. So like it looks like January to late mid-May, we're in an what they call a late cycle. Demand slows down, supply ramps, market balance lessens. So inventory slows down, capacity accelerates, rates fall, hiring slows, order intake slows down. That's the first half. Then first quarter, kind of. Then you get into the second quarter, and it's the cycle bottoming. And that's what we're in right now. loose capacity, pricing power to the shipper. David likes that.
I do.
It's trademarked.
Mm-hmm.
David B. The power pricing is to the shipper. Falling HD and CV production happens. Retail inventory destock, meaning inventories are low, which we all see that. Rates fall more slowly. Order cancellations rise. And this goes on through about August.
Okay.
And then in the September, the third quarter, capacity slow, declines, less destock, adds freight, tightening begins, drivers, tough to find. That's when we start hear about the hiring, that we can't find enough drivers. Rates begin to rise, equipment orders rise. And then we get into the fourth cycle, the mid-cycle, which is just called the classic truckload cycle. Freight demand growth, carrier margins are up, inventory stocking is up, equipment build rates rise, fleets begin to hire as many as they can, freight rates top out, and then it starts back over again to the late cycle. You know what I mean? And we think about that and never put it into this cycle. We know there's a cycle, right?
Yeah, there always has been.
Do you feel like that kind of is the cycle you're in?
Completely. Are we and to listen to the definition that you just gave? I think we're in. Are we
cycle bottom? Yeah.
Are we in 2 right now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, because rates right now are just as you mentioned earlier, are in the shipper's favor, which would be my favor, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, consider what I mean by awesome is far better than we were during the pandemic when rates were effing stupid.
Yeah, because you had to
dumb.
You had to pay what they
for
gave
no reason, dude.
Yeah.
There's no reason for any of that to have happened, but it did, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
it's a different story, different topic. But yeah, it's always been like this, and I think we're at. But there's something tells me that I think we're going to be in this bottom or what
longer could be probably
for a minute.
Yeah,
I'd say at least through the end of this quarter.
Yeah, that's what they say here, heading into the fourth. Yep. Or third.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If not through the third. There's no reason. I mean, what do we want to spend on? I mean, like everybody, we've had this talk in the past. Like everybody says, oh, the rates are terrible. I'm not going to drive. Drivers are quitting. How much do you want your stuff to cost to get it from A to B or whatever? I mean, How much do you want to go spend on anything, a shirt, a jar of olives, whatever it is,
Yeah.
I mean, if you see it in the store, like I went to the store this morning and I'm like, okay, I'm getting, I only went in for one item, came out with 7. And I'm like, everything I bought, I'm like, fair, just kind of in my head, I'm like, all right, and transportation's a huge part of what we're spending. And to Tony's point, I think with I hope we stay in this, my own opinion, with the buying power being, because it makes me look better. I like where we're at. So just my own opinion, like where we're at with rate.
Yeah. No, so that's the cycle. And it's really all I had.
Where did that, I'm sorry, Tony.
ACT.
Okay.
ACTresearch.net.
Based out of where?
They're out of Bloomington, Indiana, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're a mover and shaker. They're one of the industry's meters that they go to for their research. So it's ACT, and then you have the transportation experts, UTA. Was it the United Transportation Group that has all the data? So yeah, they have a lot of data that apparently they're pretty accurate on.
Okay, all right,
which is amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, is some of that predictable too? I mean, when it's seasonal.
Kind of
look at the yeah. That's what I was getting ready to say. I mean, it would make sense at the end of the third quarter or midway through the third quarter for things to kind of pick up, because then you're ramping up for your holiday season,
right?
So
I always look at it like everybody needs winter items, and that begins to ship fall retail, right? All that winter items around the country, because we have the seasons in America until you get to southern Georgia, right? That starts in the third, fourth quarter. Then you also have Christmas, the holidays, like you said. So people stock up. Everything revolving Thanksgiving is shipped out, right? Everything Christmas related is shipped out, and then that just falls off. And then when you and I were younger, it used to be all that stuff had to go to the store, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those retailers seem to be a lot busier. And when I was in trucking, we'd have traps for all those big retailers. I know we still do it, but it was a lot of traps back then because there was no online.
Right.
You couldn't sell anything online at that time. Well, it wasn't invented.
And it was 4 to 6 weeks for delivery.
Yeah, right.
Remember
it's
that?
Like 6 to
Please
8
allow,
weeks for
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
4 to 8,
you're right.
6 to
Producer
8.
Tony's right. Please allow 6 to 8
Mhm.
weeks for delivery.
But wait, you can get another one.
Right. Yeah. But wait, there's more.
Mhm.
How do you? I mean, yeah, that wouldn't even 6 to 8 weeks. Nah, forget it.
Oh, yeah. You can get an Amazon
no
2
way.
days.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Or same day.
Or same day if you're in the
Seriously.
market. Like, is Lebanon in that market?
Probably not.
I think Indianapolis is in that same day.
Yeah. If
That's
I need it,
unfortunate.
same again. Walmart at 6 a.m. this morning. I'm like, I'll get what I need now.
Mhm.
Bought water soft, but we're big click list people. Like we'll do click list and go pick it up. And my wife had water softener salt on the lid. I'm like, no, I'll just go get that myself.
Right.
You know, I went into Walmart this morning, got 3 bags of water softener salt. Boom, bam.
Yeah.
Boom. Anyway.
I got to get 3 bags actually too today.
So yeah, it is what it is. When I used to work for a corporation where we manufactured artificial Christmas trees and we shipped them things
Oh, yeah.
all the time, all year round. But of course, this was if those of you can believe this, that there was a time before online shopping. This was before online, whatever. So you literally had to go to the store and get it or whatever. So
You were shipping them out in July
yep.
all over the country.
Yep. Our big customer was Walmart, and Walmart was all of our customers were, it was estimates, there was seasoned estimates, and then there were releases. So you started producing based off of the season's estimates, and then the releases came no later than early July when you knew exactly what your numbers were and stuff. So there was a time, I mean, for years where every day of the year we were making Christmas trees.
That's amazing.
But then, times changed and we didn't. So
Yeah. That's amazing though, because you would think if you were shipping those, everybody in the world would have one. If you're shipping them out,
To your point,
did you ever
yeah.
think that while you're working?
yeah.
Everybody in the
So
world's
our
got
biggest, like you mentioned earlier, like I mentioned, our biggest customer was Walmart at the
Yeah.
time, and Walmart drivers would say that, like, "How you'd think everybody have one of these?" And I go, "Well, I'm glad they don't, because I need a job." And there's new families every year, and those
Yeah.
things don't last. Just like
Yeah.
vehicles. I mean, that's like
Right.
saying, "Well, you think everybody have a new car?" Well, you got to get a new one every now and again.
Did you guys do the
Whatever.
pre-lit ones?
We did.
Yeah.
Those were all made either in Mexico or China.
Because those
They
are
didn't-
nice,
not
but they don't
domestically.
last
Yeah,
long.
we didn't domestically do them.
Okay.
That was our end. It was, man, it's a corporation that could still be open today, but they thought convenience was a fad. I always said that, when our VP would come in every so often, he would, he wouldn't pick your brain because he would ask like for ideas and stuff, but they didn't want ideas. And anytime I would give an idea about or come up with something, they, without saying convenience was a fad, they would literally say convenience was a fad because I said something about, I don't remember what it was, like either domestically making the Christmas trees with lights or something. And he's like, "That's a fad." I go, "It's not a fad. Convenience is not a fad."
Right.
When
Right.
we made swimming pools, but they were the cheap, like the 3-foot tall pools,
Yeah.
15-foot round. They were plastic walls, so the inflatables came, and they're like, "No, it's not a fad."
Yeah.
You think people want to spend
Yeah.
however much time it takes to put this up?
Right.
No,
Right.
that's was their demise.
I didn't know
That's
you
why
guys
they're no
did that.
long in business anymore. So
Did you ever
they
get
could be.
Did you ever get a pull from them?
No, I mean, we made the like kitty wading pools.
Yeah.
That you find it. We had those, but
Yeah.
no.
Fun for the kids.
Yeah. No. Zero. And that, anyway, it should still be open today, but they're not. So
Yeah.
they got in bed with the competition, and the competition was like, "Well, we'll do it."
Boom. And did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sad. That
They-
happens a lot in America.
I always said you should make orange cones and hard hats, and they looked at me like I had two heads.
David, why would we do that?
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I go, how does that not make sense? Those effing orange cones all over the place.
Yeah.
Because you probably had to be union.
That's big money. That's big money in
those
that.
Those are probably union corps that do those.
I know a company in Bloomington, Indiana that does it, Hall Signs, and then there's a company out west or out near Terre Haute that does it. I forgot their name. They're in Spencer, Indiana. But long story short, man, they're busy all the time selling that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Hall Signs is huge. One of the biggest in the country. But I don't think they make it there anymore either. They do it overseas. So, but the trucking stocks, it seems like they're rebounding a little bit, David.
Okay.
You got real quick here.
There's some.
Go ahead.
Nothing. Sorry, I'm just starting. There's some layoffs.
Yeah, there's some layoffs going on. Union Pacific is down a little bit. UPS is down 43 cents. Canadian Railroad's up 77 cents. Canadian Pacific Kansas City's up. CSX is down. FedEx is down 1.58. Still healthy stock price though. But yeah, I think they laid off some people. Maybe shut down some terminals too.
Who's that? FedEx?
Yeah, I think that maybe some duplications in the system. Well, no, they shut down their London, Kentucky. They shut down some smaller facilities.
I saw a yellow trailer on the road this morning being pulled by just a generic white tractor, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I was in my head. I'm like, "Where's this going? Where were you hauling? Where are you taking this to?" Just curious.
Was it a nice looking yellow one? Because there's some new ones out there that
no. It looked like an old roadway trailer that had been rebranded yellow.
So I was up driving through the country a while back, going up through like near Monticello, and I saw a farmer who had a Preston trailer,
a
CF trailer, and a roadway trailer.
Oh wow!
And
Preston,
I was like,
CF and roadway.
And I was like, wow. I'm like, I remember them. It's like, it's amazing to see that.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I wonder if he collected those or he just randomly he looked like he was storing stuff in them.
I saw a headline in the news the other day where, I don't know why it was a headline and it caught my eye. And I think it gave the history of, maybe it was something to do with roadway. Roadway was another example of the demise of yellow or whatever, just how yellow effed up something,
Oh yeah. Everything they touched turned to dirt.
So when you said Preston, that made me think
that was the first one. One of the first ones. Yeah.
I was out with Preston the night before.
Yeah. You and I have a similar story. Yeah.
The night before they'd shut down. We were at Acapulco Joe's in downtown.
Oh
Indy.
my gosh.
They're now closed.
Acapulco Joe's.
They're now.
Wow.
How that place still isn't open is.
It was a great place. Yeah.
And
they have one on the south side too.
Squeeze bottle salsa.
Oh
that was phenomenal.
So they're out. They're nowhere around anymore.
Acapulco Joe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's now in El Toro.
Okay.
And they've been closed for.
Acapulco Joe's was
probably around maybe either right before the pandemic or
I can't remember. I just know they're not there anymore.
And they had breakfast too. Do you remember they served breakfast?
I did not know that.
Biscuits and gravy that were
really
phenomenal.
I did not know that.
We would hit that up before a day Indians game.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Good time.
But anyway, yeah, I was the night before the Preston demise. So
you were out with the rep, and he had no clue. Yeah,
and that we ended up at Acapulco Joe's. We didn't start at Acapulco Joe's. We probably third or fourth place that evening, and you're just kind of weird when stuff like that.
Yeah. So did he tell you the next day, or did you find out first about Preston?
I found out first. I don't remember how.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, whoa.
I know. Crazy.
It is weird.
Because I remember when I was in operations at Roadway off Tibbs Avenue, we hired a bunch of the Preston people. And I think Yellow immediately went under a lawsuit because they didn't want to pay their pensions. Because you assume in a union company, then you're acquiring that pension too. They end up settling. But there was a guy there that was like 65, 66 who couldn't retire because of this. And he was just waiting for this lawsuit and as soon as it happened, he was out. he could retire. I was like, man, that's horrible. But mine is, so I called on an account that used me, CF, and Preston. And the lady that routed the freight, her husband, was a driver for Preston.
Oh.
So I went in that morning and I was calling on her, and she's like, she goes, hold on, I got to take this call. It's my husband. And then she called, and he was out on a route, and they told him to pull over, and they came in a car with a yellow driver, and they put the yellow driver in the tractor and put him in the car and took him home, and the yellow guy took over. And I like witnessed that whole thing occurring right there at the front desk. And I was like, wow. And she's like, oh, this is horrible. And I'm like, well, I'll come back later. I'll just leave. And I ran out, and I think I called Ed Perry. I'm like, hey. He's like, oh man. Yeah, it was big. It was big news, man. That was, and then just swallowed them up. And Preston you said you used them and they were really good.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
And I remember that evening there was we'd stopped by the terminal. I went to the terminal first. They're like, come by the terminal. And I did a tour. When you tour one terminal, you tour them all basically, because they're all pretty much the same. And when walked in the office, and there was an old push pin board, where you would, and it said, welcome Dave Boyles, from General Foam or whatever. And I'm like, all right. I mean, but that was back in the day. Next day, bye-bye.
It's amazing. I just looked it up right now.
2006? No. Earlier than that.
I just got to the point where it probably was earlier maybe?
Than that.
1932 they were founded. Wow. They called it 151.
Yep.
Because they've 151 pieces of equipment to serve you. Wow. Man.
Wow.
Wait.
Day cabs. That was the first thing on here, not when they closed.
I know. It's like, this is a long article. Doesn't even tell you what. 99.
We must be looking at the same article. 99.
99.
Wow. That long ago?
Yeah.
Dang. Wow.
Company was doing $500,000 a year. I mean, sorry, 450 million, $500 million.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
$500,000
like,
a year.
wait a minute. Hey, no wonder they closed.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think that's right.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, wow, it's interesting. Interesting. And then CF, and then Roadway.
Well, I remember exactly where I was in CF. I was.
Wait a minute. Wait. Dude, this is in 1987, the Saya family sold the company to Preston Trucking. When Yellow purchased, so it took a while. Yellow purchased Preston in 93. It also acquired Saya. 2 years later, Saya merged with Smalley Transportation and the Yellow division, opened up terminals in North and South Carolina.
Who was the smart one in that one?
Saya.
Just saying.
Yeah,
I mean, kind of goes without saying.
Saya's lucky that Saya is ultimately lucky that Yellow purchased Roadway because they had to sell Saya to do it. And that's an amazing part of history. Yeah. Well, forgot about that. So
I mean, had there been a reversal of had there been, a little something that had they stuck with Saya, maybe Saya would have been the one. Just wondering. Anyway.
Oh yeah, right. May have been that would have been
the one that was on the outs.
Yep. It looks like what Yellow was doing was peace and regionals because that's what Saya ultimately was at that time. And then they had the Northeast with Preston, the Southeast with Saya and Texas. But anyways, moving on, David B., you had some ramp information, ramp metering information
that I really don't understand. So this week starts ramp metering in Indianapolis, and they're for the ramps onto 465 on the south and east side of Indy. I know that exit that I have to get on to leave here has them. I'm not really sure I understand it. They say it's to control the volume of traffic that gets on and off to the interstate.
Yeah,
but
it's weird.
I don't know that I quite get why that's. I mean, we've gone it without it this long. And the first time I ever experienced ramp metering was in Minneapolis in 1994. I didn't understand it then, and I still don't understand it today.
Yeah, Chicago used to have the gate that would come down, and you couldn't go.
Like a toll gate kind of thing?
Like a toll gate on the on-ramp. You couldn't go unless it raised up. It's the first time I've ever seen it. And then California obviously has it with their traffic.
Well, how well does that work?
Oh, well, they're a little strict about it in California. Like if you run one, you're going to get a ticket.
But I mean, the traffic, how does it?
It's supposed to, with the cameras, measure the volume of traffic. But like what you're saying is, so I'm trying to remember what last time it occurred to me was Thursday morning. I headed north and it turned green. Wait, it was red, yellow, green, and then bleep, then held yellow, then went to caution, then went to red. And I was like, how do I do? And then as I'm driving up to it, and it was so quick, I was like, whoa, I just kept driving. Everybody behind me, I looked back, I was looking the same thing, like, what? And they just kept going. Because where I'm getting on at, there's, you connect to 70, there's, then you're going to get the 65 going toward the city, right?
Okay.
Then you can connect it. You're on 465. It's a congested area, but there's two right-hand lanes immediately after you get on that are leading you to the next I-70. Like there's extra lanes. I don't know why you need one there.
US 40.
Yeah,
there was one. I noticed there was one at 40 also.
Yeah, I don't know why you need it.
I don't get it.
Must have been,
So in the morning when you get to getting in the morning,
I was in rush hour. Yeah, that's when it was going. It's like it was malfunctioning. Like it couldn't adjust to see what really wasn't unsteady enough to stop anybody.
On a normal day, how bad is that traffic?
It's horrible.
Is it on a normal day? And does this make matter? Or do you know if it?
It slows it down worse. Yeah, but like I think, man, this is gonna sound wild, but growing up in Chicago, like police officers didn't pull people over during rush hour. Like here, they'll take up half a lane off the median, pull somebody over at 7:45.
They were on a mission this morning. They were all over the place.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Oh, there's the water truck. It's just ridiculous, man. Like there's a time to do it and a time not to do it, and that's not the time to do it. I mean, go arrest all you can after rush hour because everyone's getting to work. If you're gonna, everybody on a damn highway could be arrested. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So just don't do that. I mean, it's horrible, but anyway. So
it doesn't. I just can't grasp my head around the concept.
Yeah.
Again, it's been since '94 that I experienced. I still don't get it. I mean, surely not on a Saturday morning they wouldn't have it, or
I don't know why. I don't know why they would do it on the Saturday unless it's race control traffic. I don't know. Maybe that's why they're out. But hey, you know what? My thing is when the economy's down, there's more police out doing the traffic stuff, right? So they need to revenue.
In sports experience any police?
Scottie Scheffler
arrested because he went through an accident thing.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% familiar with the story.
They were there's some oddities to the story. I don't personally fault the police officer because he's just doing his job or her. But they were letting golfers get through to the PGA event in Louisville.
And he was in a PGA car?
No, he was in his own car. And therein lies part of the problem. The PGA has had this issue before, not something similar like a golf arrested, but in historic terms, they have had issues with golfers making it to the press. I blame this a lot on the PGA. Okay. Not communicating. Oh. As soon as they know
with the
golfers. Yeah. Like, hey, there's an accident. You and I can do a police scanner and figure out the accident's going on. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is that he should have been communicated with.
World number one golfer, Scottie Scheffler, right?
Yep. Hey, Scottie, there's been an accident. We know your tee time is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go ahead and alter the tee time. Don't worry about it. Or you get with the police and say, hey, there's a main event. I mean, because if there was an accident and the person that got in the accident worked at the course, got hit, which is tragic.
Very
horrible. And that's another thing. Like, what are you doing, PGA? Yeah, we might have to stop this real quick. Let me get with this guy, David.
Okay, you want me to just keep talking?
Yeah, go ahead. No, go. I'll jump back in.
Producer Tony's getting his pool filled, oddly not with a hose. Since when does that happen, Producer Tony? So we're just kind of rambling on about Scottie Scheffler, I guess, to start with, in sports news. And we've got other things in sports to talk about. Let's go back to some logistics stuff. So while I bore the hell out of anybody that might still be listening, looking at some headlines in logistics news. Doesn't UPS, are their trucks hydrogen or they're not?
They have, I think
Tony's back already.
I think at the
or is it liquid propane?
I think they use a combination of both, but it's mainly at their hubs where they're using them. At like World Hub in Louisville, I know that most of the stuff on the ground there is either electric or hydrogen based.
Oh,
so but I think.
But I thought,
on line haul, they might
truck. If I when I recently passed a UPS truck, I thought it said powered by.
You're probably right. They probably have them out on the street now.
Was it LPG, liquid propane?
Liquid, yeah. It's L. Yeah, it's liquid propane is what it is. Yeah, they have propane. Yeah, yep.
Okay.
Estes is working on that too with hydrogen. There's been a big push in it to do that.
So it says one of the headlines is Honda takes the wraps off of Class 8 hydrogen FCEV concept truck. Honda pulled back the curtain on a promised Class 8 hydrogen fueled cell electric vehicle.
Wow.
Yesterday, which was May 17th, unveiling the concept truck to the public. So I'm gonna guess that's kind of interesting to read about.
Yeah. Well, there's been a struggle
because it's cleaner.
Yeah, it's cleaner and you get better gas mileage. It doesn't reduce power in the vehicle. Okay. There's been a big pushback on against electric vehicles. I mean, look at Elon Musk. I mean, they're laying off in mass.
600 people yesterday.
Oh yeah, there's been thousands. The brother-in-law was laid off there. He works out in Tesla in San Francisco.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hate to hear people getting laid off, dude.
It's all because of their sales. They can't sell them, and they're having a hard time. It's just, okay. So we just bought a vehicle not too long ago, right? Mm-hmm. So if you buy an electric vehicle, you will be charged a non-usage gas tax.
When you buy the vehicle?
Yeah. No, not when you buy it. When you file for your license plates and stuff.
What?
Oh yeah, there's a non-usage. Yeah, non-gas usage. It doesn't make any sense. Like, hey, thanks for buying it, but now you're not using gas, so we're gonna make you pay this tax.
Did I wake up in some warped whatever world?
I don't know. I don't get the purpose of this, right? If it's to save money and to save the world, why are we charging more? And it's not saving the world. You know what I mean? It's just like, gosh dang, man. So yeah, there's some non-usage fuel tax on hydrogen or electric vehicles. But Toyota's a master at this hydrogen thing. They've been working on this for decades. And then they had to scrap it when the world went to EV, right? And then they just finally went, we're done with the EV. They were the first ones to go, we're done. We're going to go with the hydrogen. Mm-hmm. So, hey, there's a guy out there that you ever dig into the alternate fuel for vehicles? There's a guy out there that actually had a patent, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was, I'm trying to think of the story here, if I can think of it in a minute. He basically invented a car that could run off water, patented it, lied about the patent so the government couldn't figure out his patent, then was visited multiple times by the government, and then died.
When I was mowing the yard, I think it was Thursday. Was it Thursday when I was mowing? Either Wednesday or Thursday when I was mowing the yard. I was listening to, I'm an extremely boring person, and I was listening to NPR, and they were talking about capturing carbon, and I'm like,
yeah,
what?
Carbon cells.
Yeah, and then you burying them underground, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, how is it?
Yeah.
What's that? I'm like, I don't get it. Anyway, sorry. Those are things I don't understand. And even the host was like, what? How is that something that's going to work or whatever, you know?
Well, the gentleman's name, I looked it up, Stanley Meyer, and his water powered car. Mm-hmm. It's a good thing there's YouTube documentaries on it and stuff. Okay. But yeah, it looks like I was looking up Toyota
Salt
here.
Water, or
somehow he was able to take molecules out of water, and that was somehow generated and did something simple, and then was able to, technically he could drive a car from California to Maine on 23 gallons of water.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. No cost, right? So it's an interesting, true story.
Yeah.
That kind of will blow your mind.
I'll definitely gotta look that up.
I think there's technology out there that has been suppressed, right?
No.
Yeah. So I had Ann's friend from college, husband, real smart dude, he's an attorney. He worked at a patent office, and this stuff, yeah, just the stuff. So, but the reason even saying that is there's just tons of patents, and the government can review them and take them if they deem them, as a threat to society, right? A threat to the government, which could be interpreted any kind of way they really deem it, right? So if it's a threat to kill an industry, right?
Could you imagine? To your point with that, what's going through my head right now is, could you imagine I've been the person that invented or had something to do with making actual cell phones? Because those of you those of you that are young listening, there was a time where you had to have a physical line to make a phone call.
Yeah.
And could you imagine, like, let's just going to take down the phone industry, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Now everybody's got cell phones.
Yeah.
Just saying out loud.
It was, being from Chicago, everybody knows this story growing up in Chicago. Motorola was in a race with AT&T for the cell phone. And the two gentlemen that were working on the cell phone from AT&T and the other one from Motorola knew each other. And so the Motorola guy's first cell phone call, he made it. He beat him. His first operational functional cell phone call was to the AT&T guy's office. And he goes, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And he goes, No. He goes, Yep. Take care. Click.
Yeah.
And they had won the race.
I'll be damned.
Yeah. So
is Motorola still a company?
Oh yeah. All of our equipment in the military, David, was pretty much Motorola. Okay. Yeah, they are a government supplier. And they are huge on the University of Illinois campus. They have dedicated buildings on that campus. There's a rumor that when you Google something or you get on any computer search engine, that that Motorola building in University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, actually it's Urbana, Champaign, but routes through that mainframe hub that Motorola has. We don't notice it, would never see it. It's so quick, but it bounces off there.
Why is it Urbana Champagne and not Champagne Urbana?
Because there's an argument in the town, and it's funny you said that because you caught on to that. We lived in Champaign.
Okay.
The university's actually in Urbana, but part of it's in Champaign, the newer part of Champaign. So Champaign likes to claim like Champaign. Yeah. But it's actually, and then there's high school rivalries between Urbana and Champaign. It's actually Urbana. So when I and being from Illinois, I once was with a customer out. We were watching University of Illinois. They had a big run these years I was out there. And I had said, man, I'm glad that this game's in Champaign, Urbana tonight. And he looked at me like I was an alien. And he goes, it's Urbana Champagne. And then he explained it to me, and I was like, he's like, you people from Chicago, you don't know. You just don't know. That's all you know is Chicago. You don't know there's a whole other state. It's in the University of Urbana-Champaign. That's what it is. And I was like, God dang, dude.
I'm the down, dude.
Yeah, he goes, and then he said, because this guy knows this stuff, he goes, would you say Northwestern's from Chicago? I go, no, they're from Evanston.
Chicago does.
Yeah. I go,
Chicago's Big Ten team. Yeah. What team?
Yeah. I go, no, Evanston.
Big Ten
yeah.
team.
I go, he goes, well, you know that. That's the same as here, Urbana-Champaign. I was like, wow. And then I looked it up one time, and there's actually an argument about it. And so it's kind of cool little Big Ten stuff, but yeah. So, and then Loyola always says Loyola of Chicago, because they kind of got some campuses, that may not be. So, and DePaul just says DePaul.
Right.
It always Loyola of Chicago. I don't know why.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. And going back to, so Scottie Scheffler gets arrested.
Dude.
Is that, and that's going to
Let me
stick?
see the latest.
Is that going to stick?
Well, he's facing 5 to 10 years.
Oh.
They hit him with a felony. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they sure did. And the reporter that was there is saying it didn't happen like the police officer's saying.
Oh, I don't believe that.
But okay, let's play devil's advocate. If you're Scottie, you and I are like top rated, and this guy's a nice guy. I'm just going to say Scottie Scheffler's known to be a very nice guy. So, I mean, I don't know if I would have kept going if the guy's hanging on my window, right? Mm-hmm. On my car, there's some weird stuff to it,
okay.
But like, I blame the PGA actually on this for not communicating with their golfers. And you got the number one player in the world. I'm sorry. You might want to pick him up on a damn bus.
And also maybe communicating with the police.
Yeah, communicating with the police, find out what's going on.
Hey, we're going to have some golfers come through here.
You're playing the PGA Championship. Well, my first thing was, why are you playing the PGA Championship in Louisville? First of all. Second, why is there no communication going on?
Yeah.
And third, now it looks like shit.
Okay.
It's just, what the hell happened, right? So no athlete should be given special treatment, but I'm going to tell you right now, if the Pacers need to get to the stadium, they're getting to the stadium, David. Mm-hmm. Would you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
They're getting a police escort to the stadium if
sir.
They need it. Just like IU gets a police escort up and down the 37, right? When their games when they play here, Purdue or somebody like that. So
you're world ranked number one golfer
in the world. Yeah. Everybody knows you. The police officer asked, who did we just arrest? Which made me actually pleasantly surprised that he didn't do anything intent. He just looked like doing his job, right? Trying to do his job. I don't blame the police officer per se. I really don't, because it's easy to go there and blame him. And they shouldn't get any different treatment than you and I, right? So, but it's just odd. So, but yeah, they're saying now that the police are going to drop the charges.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But they perp walked him. I mean, it's like he got perp walked. He perp walked him. He had his hands up against and Scotty's like telling the reporter, help me, tell me who I am. I'm just trying to get to my golf. Scotty didn't know there was an accident.
Yeah.
So he thinks maybe they're just directing traffic.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say much about it, but
just leave it go, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a newsworthy item right now because everybody wants to jump on a police type incident and you got to admire Scottie Scheffler though. Do you know what he went out and did? He went out and tore it up.
Now you know who I am.
Yeah.
Wants me to rip ass.
Boom. Arrest me now. Arrest me on hole 18 as I
rip ass.
As I commit murder on the course.
Yeah.
Right?
As he does a Chichi Rodriguez. Like,
Oh yeah.
Carving it up.
Yeah. So he nailed, he had a great day. So he's 3 behind the leader right now.
Is that where Tim is?
He might be. He said he was going. Did he say he was golfing or he was going to a golf?
I don't remember.
Maybe he went to the event.
Maybe.
He should have called us in with a live interview from Scottie.
Son of a gun.
Scottie.
What was he thinking?
Yeah. Timmy D.
He's not sober now anyway.
Probably not. He might be arrested.
But anyway.
Tim Davis arrested. That should be our topic of work. Tim Davis arrested in Louisville.
Yeah.
Boy, what are you guys doing? Oh,
in the same cell as Scottie Scheffler.
The same cell. So Scottie,
get us out of here.
So there's like when these men and women golf, David, they take usually an hour of prep to warm up, 2 hours to warm up, loosen up. And so Scottie was stretching out in the prison cell. And so he was talking about how he stretched out.
He's like,
Hey, officer, could you hold my hands back here while I move? Right. Oh, yeah, that. All right, man.
So good news in sports is Pacers won last night.
Pacers, I saw that.
Embarrassing news in sports is the Indiana Fever played 2 games.
David, what's going on with the Fever, man?
Well, I thought this last year. So last year was the first year of their head coaches, their current head coaches. She's never
first job.
She's never head coached anywhere.
Wow.
Before.
And head coach of the Fever
last year. And I knew last year, I'm like, this
really?
ain't going to work.
Is it a former player? From the Pacers or not Pacers, but Fever? No.
I don't think she played.
Okay.
She may have played professionally, but I don't think she played in the WNBA. I'm not sure of her playing career. I do know her coaching career. In 2 games in,
Christy, is that her name?
Sides. They need to fire a coach. So just my own opinion. That is embarrassing. And she's quick to me, in her post-game interviews, she does a huge no-no by absolutely blaming the players. And
really?
Yep. She should take all responsibility. 0 blame on anybody but herself. That's embarrassing. You have 17,000 people at your first home game of the season, and you go out and effing put on a performance like that. That's awful. Awful. I don't care who you have as a team. That's embarrassing.
She played at Ole Miss and Louisiana Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she never was a coach before.
Yeah, never was a head coach.
Yeah. Wow.
She's had 2 assistant head coaches job, like the lead assistant job, but she's not ever been a head coach. She needs to effing be fired. And they played the Liberty on Thursday, played the Liberty again today, and they just got waxed. I mean, the Liberty are far better built than what we are. And I mean, you asked a couple weeks ago how they were going to do. They're not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it would be because they had a decent team. I thought they might, with the addition of her, would be, and then they got another girl that was pretty good. I thought, man, it might be, maybe they got to work out some stuff. But I thought this would be, wow. She only scored 9 points in the home debut.
Mm-hmm. But she fouled out too. She only played. So, I mean, if you look back if you watch the video, I watched the next morning. You know how on YouTube you can pretty much get all the highlights of the game. If you watch the game, and this goes again to the piss poor coaching that they had. If you watch, she already had at least 3 fouls on her, if not 4, and they played specific man-to-man coverage where nobody switched off, and so she's running all over she's running halfway across the court to stick with her person, to stick with the other gal that she's guarding. And it's like, well, somebody switch off. There shouldn't be that.
Yeah.
And when you're doing shit like, I'm not, Caitlin Clark's going to be fine.
Yeah.
They just got to effing fire somebody. It's just embarrassing. And how they haven't already. And when you do this, clean house.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone. Not your GM needs to go. Just my own. That's embarrassing, Tony. And again, they play New York again today. So
dang. Yeah, I'm looking at it. There's a lot of weird stuff. They're in last place right now. Only 2 games played, but
well, but if this is your performance after 2 games, it's going to be a long season.
Right. No, I get it. Who do they play? The Liberty, right? And they're 2-0.
And the Liberty's a built team.
Yeah.
They've got, Brianna Stewart's on their team. She's former MVP. They're built and they're tall. You look at that Liberty team and they are, they're well put together ball club. And here we are like, what? And this is just, and if you're Caitlin Clark, even Aaliyah Boston or whatever, you're like, what did I sign up for?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't come to Indiana for this. This is ridiculous.
Well, hopefully they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Take a little bit here.
See.
Larry Bird, new coach of the Fever.
You know who I might strongly, in my opinion, I don't know if he's still coaching or not. We had this discussion.
Bill Lambier.
Yep. 100%. You knew where I was going. You knew exactly where I was going.
Toughen him up.
No doubt in my mind, dude. He produced.
Oh, yeah. Caitlin with an elbow down low. Yeah.
Right. Well, I don't know. And there was
he's a winner. He was a winner.
Watch the video. I strongly suggest to watch the video of the last game if you can tolerate it.
Yeah.
They just got their backsides handed to them. In both games, they've gotten their backsides handed to them. And like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, it'll probably happen again today.
Man.
It is what it is, I guess. It's just, you just don't like to see that. 17,000 people showing up to the game and you produce like that. Pat McAfee was there. Miles Turner was there. Coach Carlisle was there.
Wow.
And the Pacers have game 7 on Sunday against the Knicks.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
It is.
Man.
But again, they speaking of laying it, the Pacers, they won once on the road, and that was at Milwaukee in the last series. And they haven't. You got to produce on the road.
Bam.
Produce on the road. So we'll see what happens against
Man,
the
that'd be
Knicks.
huge. God, it would be huge. I want it to happen so bad.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be huge.
In New York, too, right, dude?
Kill them right there. Or not kill them. Beat them right there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that is huge.
David B.
Yep. Is it the Reckless Club time, producer?
Boom! The Reckless Club live in downtown Dragon Studios. David B.
So we'll start with we're 1992. Man, producer Tony, that's
1992.
Goodness gracious.
92.
January the 11th of 1992. We've talked about this often. Grunge is in full effect, and Nirvana's album Nevermind goes to number 1. So that's
about time.
Yeah, it is. What an awesome band. It's just, and also in February the 24th of that year, Kurt Cobain marries Courtney Love.
Courtney Love, yeah.
At that time, back in the day,
yeah,
she's a cutie.
Courtney Love, yeah.
Cutie. That was, dang, she was. Anyway, March 14th, Farm Aid takes place in Irving, Texas. Seems like Farm Aid kind of had quite a few times when they played in Texas. You went to Farm Aid. Was it last year?
Yeah, I went to 2 of them. I went to one in Illinois and one here last year. Yeah.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Okay. Who does anybody stick out or
from Farm Aid?
Yeah.
Well, obviously Willie Nelson. That's probably why they played. That bandana I got up here is a Willie. Well, I took it down.
That one, red one right there?
Yeah, it was a Willie Nelson bandana I got from that Farm Aid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He stood out. What was unique was the first Farm Aid I saw was in Illinois. Bob Dylan, Neil Young. It was like just a star. John Mellencamp. I think even Dave Matthews was there, and Tim Reynolds. So this one, it was unbelievable. So toward the end of the show, I actually said to Ann, "Wouldn't it be great if Neil Young, when I first saw this, Neil Young and Bob Dylan like played back to back, and then so Neil Young's supposed to come out, and then it was Bob Dylan came out. I was like, no way." And Bob Dylan performed, dude. It was really, I mean, he's weird, but it was just historical. The crowd went nuts. And then Neil Young came out, and then obviously, I mean, Willie Nelson, 91, 92 years old. I mean, just a musical legend, right? And I mean, it was unbelievable. Mellencamp. I mean, it was just, David, I got to tell you, it was incredible. It was a great show. It really was. And those crowds seem to just be so peaceful and mindful. It's amazing because you go to places and they get packed and kind of the aisleways disappear. And I've only seen that happen one time at Ruoff, and that was when the Who performed, where just there was no aisles to walk. So, and it gets kind of scary like that, you know? So you're like, man, what's this emergency? I can't really get out. But that was the only time I saw that. And it could have been like that at the Farm Aid, but it didn't go that direction, which I was like, man, this crowd, it was packed. It was beautiful. Loved it. It's you ever see one, ever get a chance, if you're listening, you should go. It's a great day with a great show. And then Ursay performed, and I was kind of like,
last year?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, we should be worried about the Colts. What are you doing out here? And then he brought out Nancy Wilson from Heart, and they played a Zeppelin song. And then, you know, Ursay, I guess he knows music. I was okay with it. It was fine. It was just odd, you know. I don't know. It was just weird. He can't sing very well. It's just like, come on, dude. Let's get to the main artist here.
Get off the stage.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the stage. Go worry about the Colts because you got issues there. Go worry about that. But anyways, Ann Wilson thanked him, and said my good friend Jim Irsay, and yeah, apparently he's in it. You know, he's got a band and stuff, right? Did you know that?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's into like music and stuff. Like I think he wanted to be a rock artist or something. So
when you have that kind of money, I guess you can
be any. Yeah, you can be. Yeah, it can be anything you want, right? Oh my!
I did. I'm halfway through listening to, and I've kind of, I shouldn't have done this, but I've kind of thumbed through it a little bit. Like this week, I saw there's an hour-long interview, an hour plus long interview with Jimmy Chamberlain online. Jimmy Chamberlain, drummer of the Smashing Pumpkins, and I really like that interview. That guy is awesome drummer. I mean, and all they basically it was about technique, not necessarily about music with the Pumpkins. That's brought up,
right?
But it's very, very small part of the thing, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
I appreciated that interview because it was about Jimmy Chamberlain's drumming and the technique, and I'm like, it was captivating,
right?
And I wish I would have. I'm gonna watch the rest of it. I may watch the rest of it today, but I'm like, this is very informative.
The guy that really produced that grunge was in a band, but he was also a producer, and he was in Milwaukee. He's near the University of Wisconsin somewhere, Madison. He tells a story about when they ask him about grunge. He talks about how important the drummer is, and he talks about Jimmy. And he actually goes back and says, because Nirvana and Pearl Jam get a lot of credit for the whole grunge movement, but really the Pumpkins were like kind of like in it before those guys were. And he talks about how the drums, and he talks about Chamberlain as being one of the. I think in a nutshell, what he's saying is Pumpkins would never have sounded as good without Jimmy, and then Nirvana would have never sounded as good without David Grohl. He was saying those two drove that sound, kind of that sound by the drums. and you can tell it. You can really tell it in some of the Nirvana stuff. Like the drums were kind of the whole theme of the song, the movement, the way it went, and the beat. It really and Grohl was incredible. But he talks about those two, and probably, and then I don't remember who Pearl Jam's drummer is, but he did talk about him too. But he really stressed that Jimmy Chamberlain was like the,
And he said he got started by his brother had a drum set.
Yeah.
And he would just go in and start playing his brother's drums, and his brother would shoo him away, or whatever. And then eventually he just stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, I was tired of getting beat up by my brothers and my sisters, and just played the drums. And it was a really interesting story. Tony, I clicked off in 1992 because we did 1992 last time. Because if you look at the songs, I'm like, we did.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, God dang, we did.
Because it sounded familiar when I'm like, shit. So I
Recap
just clicked off
92.
of it.
Yeah. 93.
So I just clicked off of everything. But it was, it gives you a new appreciation for not necessarily Jimmy Chamberlain, but drummers or anybody as a whole is playing the drums. They were showing the techniques, and and you kind of really had to listen to the differences because like a normal ear probably wouldn't hear it.
Yeah.
But then when they showed, I'm like, okay,
yeah.
And they did get into some of the Smashing Pumpkins songs, but it was mainly about him and the technique and growing up and doing it. And
like tonight,
one of my favorites.
Wow. Like the drums in that are just incredible, man. I mean, it's really incredible. When I saw them on my full disclosure, before I saw them last year, I was worried. Like, man, what's this going to be like? Because I know they had, Chamberlain, I didn't know all of them got back together except the bassist, right? So then I was watching a lot of the online stuff, and they weren't playing a lot of their old stuff. And then people were complaining about it. So I was like dejected, and I had friends come from Chicago, right? And I was like, man, I'm really worried about this. That concert was incredible. Okay. It was one of the best I've ever seen in my life. It exceeded my expectations. Oh, yeah. It was just beautiful, man. So there's a thing about where I grew up. There was, I don't know why, but Judas Priest was popular. I wasn't the biggest Judas Priest fan, but all my buddies were into them. They had Judas Priest t-shirts. It was the first concerts they were all going to. Mine was Journey, right? So I went to Journey. But so and I like the breaking the law. So then, so what I found funny was, and if I talk to my old buddies, right, they always bring up Judas Priest. So at that concert, Dave, I thought was so cool. Before they came out, there's no warm-up band. There's no, warm-up band. They're playing Judas Priest. Oh, and I was like, man, me and my buddy looked at each other and we're like,
you mean
that's
like
James Iha? Yeah. That's James E. And Billy too grew up right there. So it's like, I'm like, they were like me.
Is Judas Priest a Chicago band?
No, they're not. I don't know why, but they were extremely popular in the northwest area of Chicago. Oh. Extremely popular.
Did the Pumpkins first play at the Metro? Was that their first big?
Yep.
It's an iconic.
Oh my God. No, but yeah, a lot of them, there's still popular people that go back and play there.
Really?
Yeah, that was a great concert though, man. It was, and so hard to do. My favorite song, 1999, 1979. I'm thinking of Prince.
You're good.
1990, party like it's 19.
Yeah.
1979. To do that live would be, how do you get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did it.
Yeah.
It sounded great. Mm-hmm. And so what was amazing, what we were amazed by, me and my buddy from Chicago came down, we were amazed. They had 5 guitarists out on the stage, man, at one time doing their stuff. Yeah. It was like, wow.
Was Billy one of them?
Yep. James Iha. And then there were 3 others. Yep. At one time, all playing tonight. So, I mean, I was impressed. It was probably, I'm going to say, the second best concert I've ever seen. It's in the top 5 for sure. I mean, it was just blew me away.
Wow.
Because they can be he can kind of get drifty into that like Darth Vader shit, like
goth.
Goth, yeah. He can kind of get crazy into that, but he didn't. Which was fun.
Okay.
I don't mind it, but music that he's into with that, I don't like.
I see.
But he didn't go there. So I thought it was cool. Him and James Eha bounced off each other. They were talking on stage. It was really good. Yeah. James, what do you want to play?
I think that's the thing I liked most about the Jimmy Chamberlain interview is that it was just about Jimmy Chamberlain. It wasn't about anybody else,
Yeah.
It was about him and his technique and
man,
dude,
it's great.
Man. What a good dude.
He's probably one of my favorite drummers all time. Underrated, very underrated. He would be, and I think that's why the Devo guy fits good into Dave Grohl's band right now, the Foo Fighters, because if you really trace the history of grunge back, I think it's before what we saw. It goes into Devo. They were doing different beats and sounds.
About a month ago, I went to Square Cat Vinyl to see some bands. There was 3 punk bands playing at Square Cat Vinyl. This was on a Saturday.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, dude. I wasn't sure what to expect, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And the second of the 3 bands had a very distinctive Devo sound to them.
Yeah, I like that sound.
And I was the oldest guy there, like by far the oldest guy there. And when that second band got done playing, I went up to them and I started talking to them. And the first question I asked was, talk to me about your Devo influence. And the lead singer, she lit up. Like she goes, yep, definitely a huge influence. She was from the same town, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I could hear it. And it was just awesome. And when you hear and when you see that, again, I wasn't sure what to expect. When it was done, I'm like, this was probably one of the better things I've done.
Right.
And I just went, kicked back, had a couple beers.
Yep.
And enjoyed.
Oh, man, that sounds like a good time.
It was so good.
But what you said there is, I think, where it came from. I think that's where grunge came from.
Devo.
Punk.
Yeah,
punk. Yeah, I think it came from punk. Because Nirvana classified themselves early on as a punk band. They were punk. And that's what, who's the lead singer that died?
What's that?
Lead singer that died? Kurt Cobain
Oh, yeah.
had said that that Nirvana was a punk band in early MTV interviews. It's like, we're really a punk band.
I could see that because you look at, to your point with that, you look at the song, It Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's like, you can't understand the effing lyric that's coming out. Like,
it's like punk merged into,
What do you say?
Yeah. You're like, what?
Yeah, but it was a huge hit, though, or whatever. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
Massive hit. That's like would be considered the launch of grunge, right? The biggest grunge hit ever.
Right.
I don't know if it
when
really
that
excuse me, about choked on that coffee.
I'm going to go back to to those 3 bands I saw at Square Cat. When that second band comes back to Indy,
What's their name?
The name of the band
Let
is
me know, man.
PAL, P-A-L, of Ohio, because I'm sure there's more than one band named PAL. PAL, P-A-L, PAL of Ohio. 3-piece band.
Wow. I like 3 band members.
And there was the lead singer, she was awesome.
Wow.
They were all excellent bands, but that second band, that Devo sound, you knew. I'm like, all right. And I couldn't wait to talk to them.
Yeah.
That's what I like about going to those small venues.
You can talk to them. Yeah.
You get to talk to the band. Like, hey, you did a great job.
It's good stuff.
Where are you from? What else do you do? Because you have to be doing something else.
Right.
Because you're not making it.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
You'll do fine, but what are you doing now? You know, just those conversations. I like to have those conversations.
Yeah.
You get to meet different people. I can't wait for them to come back. So nice. And I sent them a private message the next day, like, hey, just reiterating, you did a really good job and blah, blah, blah. Excellent. Just
I have to check them out, man.
Yeah. Next time they're in India, I'll let you know.
Let me know, brother.
We'll go, even if it's a Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Let's hit that
we'll check it out.
So it'd probably be better than the Fever game, just saying.
for now, yeah.
We have buyer's remorse, or we should have. Anyway.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah, producer Tony, appreciate it. I might have to mow, Tony, when I get home.
I think you better before it rains this afternoon. If it rains. don't
Is
know.
it supposed to?
I thought maybe it was supposed to get a light shower. Let me look it up real quick.
I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like it's.
Oh, no, we're clear today. Ooh, it says clear, partly cloudy. Oh, they changed it. No rain till Monday night.
Once again.
Davey, you got plenty of time to mow.
Oh, today and then again on Monday.
Yeah. And if you lay any fertilizer down, it'll be mowing quicker. But
Well, yeah. I mean, because if you don't, then it's going to look like that yard over there.
yeah, check for mold. Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right, brother.
Thanks, producer Tony.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody, for listening. Ship's Gonna Happen Podcast.
Boom.